In order to determine whether or not an antique brooch that was found on Lot 21 is partially made of gold, his son Alex and his buddy Craig Tester traveled to St. Mary's University in Halifax. The brooch was discovered this year and was inspected by a geologist. Dr. Krista Bro, an associate professor of chemistry who specializes in electrochemical chemistry, as well as metals and their chemical compositions, along with her colleague, Dr. Xiang, are joined by Dr. Bro and Xiang in order to investigate the chemical composition of the brooch and determine whether or not it is composed of gold or any other precious metals. Employing a scanning electron microscope with a high level of optical power, after magnifying the brooch to a magnitude that is tens of thousands of times larger than its true size, the team will analyze its chemical makeup in order to discover whether or not it is composed of gold or any other valuable metals. Pure copper can be found in the dark area, whereas gold can be found in the light area. This is the very first piece of gold that has been certified to have been discovered on Oak Island, and it is regarded as a treasure. In light of the fact that Marty Lagena is thrilled about the discovery and intends to bring in the motherlode this year, he calls a meeting in the war room to inform his brother Rick and the other members of their team about the wonderful news. Marty Lagena, his son Alex, and his friends, together with his business partner Craig Tester, are going to St. Mary's University in order to investigate the prospect of discovering gold in an antique brooch that is located on Lot 21. A key event in the history of the Oak Island treasure hunt has occurred when Rick and Marty Lagena, along with their team, have found their first gold on Oak Island. This discovery marks a crucial development in the journey. They are pushed back further in time than they ever imagined they would be able to see here, as a result of the finding of a brooch and a lead cross that may be older than they ever anticipated. The Oak Island treasure hunt, which has been going on for 223 years, has just started, and the team is currently conducting a new probe drilling operation from within the garden shaft. This operation is being carried out by representatives from Duma Contracting Limited in order to search for valuables just outside the structure. The dilapidated 80-foot deep shaft, which is currently being refurbished by Duma, has yielded high trace evidence of gold through water testing, and it may also be located within a few feet of a potential treasure chamber that is connected to the original money pit. Marty Lagena is hoping to find something extremely substantial in the garden shaft, which is where the treasure search actually begins. They came upon a void in this location, which is roughly 10 feet deep. This void could be a hint of an offset chamber, or it could be a sign that they have found something unexpected. Now that Duma has reached a depth of 55 feet in the reconstruction of the garden shaft, they are about to manually probe drill a number of boreholes that will reach several feet outside of the structure in the hopes of reaching the void and determining what it might contain. In conclusion, the fabled Money Pit treasure vault is currently being reconstructed. The discovery of gold on Oak Island marks a significant step forward in the search for answers to the Oak Island treasure hunt. The team from Duma is using a powerful hydraulic earth drill to probe the garden shaft, using 12 holes at different angles to look for evidence of man-made workings and potential valuables. They are drilling through the tight lining of the shafts, cutting through a small piece of wood on every hole. This wood has been detected as having high gold values in the area. The team is interested in the wood samples and soil samples, and Rick is going to bring them to Emma to dig them out. Emma has shared some news about the gold in the wood, which is surprising. The wood samples extracted from a depth of 55 feet inside the garden shaft contain high trace evidence. At a concentration of 0.11%, it is affixed to the organic material that is the wood. Both the possibility of discovering gold in the wood and the possibility of conducting additional exploration have the crew very enthusiastic. In order to determine whether or not gold is present, they intend to conduct a test on the exterior of the shaft using water samples. This is a significant amount of gold. The crew is very enthusiastic about both of these possibilities. The team is resolute in their pursuit of the gold and intent on carrying on with their inquiry in order to achieve their objective of discovering gold. The team is now working on a gold discovery
that the Lagena brothers unearthed. And, to everyone's surprise, Smith's Cove is where the sword was located. The sword is assumed to have been manufactured in Italy and dates to the 1st or 2nd century AD, which is ornamented with several motifs, including a dolphin and a trident, and it is in generally good shape. The pottery fragment is another remarkable Roman artifact that the Lagena brothers unearthed. It was discovered in the island's Money Pit region and supposed to have been produced in France and dates to the 4th or 5th century AD. On the other hand, it was decorated with symbols, including a cross and a sundial. The brothers discovered several other Roman artifacts on Oak Island beside the lead sword and the piece of pottery. Coins, nails, and jewelry are some of these relics. Some people think that Oak Island was previously visited by Roman explorers because of the existence of these Roman articles. A reality television series called The Curse of Oak Island follows the hunt for riches on Oak Island. The brothers Rick and Marty Lagena, who have been looking for the loot for more than 10 years, are followed throughout the series. The Lagena brothers and their gang continued their hunt for riches on the mysterious island in the most recent episode of The Curse of Oak Island, picking up where the previous one left off. The crew concentrated on the marsh in this episode because it was the location of several intriguing artifacts they had previously discovered, including a lead cross and a stone with the Latin inscription 70 feet below. They were able to locate several abnormalities in the swamp using a range of techniques, including sonar and ground-penetrating radar, which they suspect might represent the remnants of buried buildings. One of the most intriguing oddities is a big rectangular object around 70 feet below the surface. The crew is excited to dig into this to see what they uncover, since they think it may be a treasure box. The crew must not harm what they seek, since the marsh is challenging and dangerous. Eventually, they excavated a tiny area of the item, but could not see what was within. In a later episode, they will have to go back to the swamp to carry on their hunt. Yet, the crew made modest strides on other parts of the island. They started digging a new shaft close to the marsh and continued to drill in the money pit location. The crew made some progress in their hunt for riches, even though they made no significant finds in this episode. They are optimistic that the forthcoming episodes will include something important. As more proof that Oak Island has long been the location of covert operations, or more precisely, clichés, the presence of a nearby treasure, the researchers also discovered traces of earlier human activity. That's not it, though. The real deal was the map they found on the island, which dated back to 1647. It was a French copy, with the labels hatch, valve, and anchor, suggested significant connections. In particular, it suggested that the money may have come from Africa, raising the intrigue around Oak Island. The brothers are convinced this map will point them toward their lost money. The series has followed their journey for over a decade, and it will be interesting to see if they can finally solve the mystery. The story goes that, in 1795, while on an adventure on the island, a group of boys around the age of 13 discovered a dip in the earth. They began digging since they believed it to be a fake hole, and as they dug, they found multiple layers of wood and other things. Yet, a mysterious flood stopped them in their tracks, filling the hole with water and blocking any further excavation. As soon as word of the discovery spread, treasure seekers from all over the world flocked to Oak Island to look for the loot. The Onslow Company, a group of financiers, organized the first orderly excavation of the Money Pit in the year 1803. This specific team was able to dig down to a depth of 90 feet before the flooding, which happened in the pit once more, hampered their attempts. Meanwhile, the excavations were permanently halted in 1909 as the Oak Island Treasure Company went out of business. Since then, several other parties have tried to find the treasure buried on Oak Island, but the riddle of the money pit has remained unsolved to this day.
Using cutting-edge equipment like sewer cameras and casings, Rick Lagena and his crew are plunging into Oak Island's garden shaft in an attempt to locate an old tunnel that may be concealed underneath. They find charcoal and red pottery that allude to ancient tales of the island's past, but they are at a loss and resolve to step up their efforts. Lear and Larry think they might locate a metal-filled tunnel leading to a secret vault after finding a mixture of clay and wooden fragments. Deep within the shaft, Gary Drayton, a specialist with a metal detector, detects signs of copper, silver, and gold. The team keeps looking and finds more than 1,000 lead tokens and a few antique coins from the same period as the lid cross they discovered before. But no treasure is discovered, and the mystery is still unexplained. The group chooses to go farther into the garden hole in the hopes of discovering a secret tunnel beneath. They also investigate other areas of the island, like Lot 26's historic well, which they estimate was constructed in the 11th century. After overcoming challenges in the garden shaft with a larger drill bit, the crew turns their attention to Lot 5, hoping to strike it rich with gold and silver. They think that someone concealed something important there a long time ago, but it feels more like a fairy tale than real life. There is still a slim chance that they might hit gold this time, even if some people doubt they will discover anything significant. Marty Lagena and Rick, two brothers, have an obsession with Oak Island's fabled treasure. They first became interested in treasure after finding a peculiar rock in their hometown. They persuaded Marty and his pals to dig around it because they thought it might hold something precious, and the excitement of the pursuit has developed into a fierce treasure hunt. The Lagena brothers continue their journey despite many setbacks and criticisms, sharing their exploits on television. As they go deeper into the earth, they discover little, unrelated objects that give them hope. These minor revelations are hailed as important hints that keep the story captivating for the audience and can persuade the brothers to carry on their search. As each digging season comes to an end, they prepare for the next one in the unwavering hope that the next dig will reveal Oak Island's hidden wealth. This cycle of excitement and disappointment characterizes their treasure hunts and appears to be a major theme in their life. The team and onlookers are feeling both excited and skeptical about the recent actions of Duma Contracting Company at the Garden Shaft. Under the direction of a plan created by Tom's late father, Fred Nolan, the group embarks on a new journey. The account is made more complex by the finding of a four-sided shape in the 9S close to Nan's Cross. The enigmatic island known as the Treasure of Oak Island has rich soil and a fascinating past that has captivated people for years. In an effort to learn more about the island's past, the crew is delving further into its history and geography. They are searching wells along the quadrilateral and close to Fred Nolan's land in the hopes of discovering something significant. As part of its investigation plans, the crew intends to dig into the ground and symbolically delve into the island's past in the hopes of discovering more than just tangible artifacts. The island has yet to produce any gold, despite several tries using metal detectors and thorough inspections. Instead, they discover another rosehead spike that resembles those discovered close to the Money Pit and Smith's Cove. The group speculates that this spike might have been utilized to dig subterranean shafts. A hand-forged hook from the 1600s has also been found. They think that this hook might have been a component of an antiquated block and tackle system that was employed for a variety of jobs, perhaps even tunnel building. The hook's discovery, which is thought to have occurred between 1650 and 1690, adds mystery to Oak Island's tale and keeps viewers and treasure seekers interested. For more than 200 years, the Lagena brothers and their group have been exploring Oak Island in quest of undiscovered gems. The fascinating story of in-depth history and the thrill of perhaps touching something that hasn't been touched in hundreds of years are what motivate them on their quest.